So this is my digital wax up for Latoya. You know, we used a face scan in here, and so you can see where her original teeth were. And then this wax up was totally done in Blue Sky, super simple to do. And then that allowed me to guide, you know, my teeth, my implant positions, exactly where they need to be, you know, right out those cusps or those lingual aspects, right through the occlusal. And then, essentially, if you want to make a, we talked about wanting to put on the analog or the abutments here. So all these implants, it's pretty simple. If you right-click any implant and you hit replace abutment, you do have to be in the implant module, but you can go in here and hit replace abutment. Now this is kind of what we were talking about as far as seeing all your cylinders here. So this is the Blue Sky components, and it's got all the different heights. So this would be, let's turn off the guide tube here. So this would be a multi-unit abutment with a cylinder on it. It's using the 3 millimeter high multi-unit abutment with a cylinder. And then this would be if you wanted to put a sleeve over it, which we're not really doing. Here's just that multi-unit abutment if you just wanted to see the abutment. So this is great because if I put this on here, now I can see if I had a 3 millimeter long multi-abutment and a cylinder, you can see in my digital wax up here, if I turn off the extract model, you can see where it's coming out, right? You can see where it's just coming out here. Now, you'll see this case, and I probably should have sunk my implants a little bit deeper in the back. But you can get an idea now of kind of your depth on everything. So if I go into, I can turn all these abutments on here, and I can see exactly where they come out and how much restorative space that I have.
Did you just duplicate all those that fast?
So right here is your abutments.
They were already on. You were already chosen before.
Already chosen, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So remember, again, this resolution is rough here, but this is, you know, to show hide all your implants. Mm-hmm. This is to show hide all your abutments. Mm-hmm. This is to show hide all your guide tubes. But now you can see kind of the relationship of your wax up with all of your abutments in place. And then these are 17s, so you can notice the angle there.
When you flip those over, Matt, look at the angle guys on the back side of those 17s too. You'll run into your bone right there.
Yeah.
You trim some bone away sometimes with multis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you place them deep, I had to sit there and drill on them on the bone to get my just the high speed and a diamond.
Yep.
It's a pretty sudden emergence right there. That might choke your bone a little bit too.
Yep. Then, did we go over like the profile kit last time? The Blue Sky profile kit. So I would definitely recommend whatever implant system you're using, getting some sort of profile kit, because after you put in 6 implants, I bought 6 of the little pins, but you go put 6 pins on all the implants, and then take your profiler and just go over each pin, and it's going to go right down and hub out, and it's going to profile that bone, and then so your multi-units are all going to seat down. So it's a really fast, mindless way. You don't have to like peel the tissue back because it's just going to just push down around the tissue and just cut bone. So it's a quick way to clear your bone out for your multi-units.
In one module, you do your wax up.
Yep.
Denture?
Yeah, in denture. So this whole wax up, it was all done in the denture module. And the reason being is the denture module gives you the ability to bring in a whole chain of teeth. Mm-hmm. And then it allows you to, let's see. So it allows you to get this chain here, right? So you can, and we went through this a lot in class 3, and how do you really get down nuts and bolts of doing a wax up. But the big deal is doing this. So you can swing the chain out, right? And I'll just keep that where it's at, but it gives you the ability to lock these teeth positions and swing everything distal. And in the crown and bridge module, you can't do that.
Right.
So the chain function is really easy. Once you get the teeth where you want them, you can go back into crown and bridge, and then you can sit here and you can manipulate each individual tooth where you want it. So denture first, crown and bridge to finish.
Matt, on the multi-unit abutments, you picked the ones that were 3 millimeters high.
Yeah.
Some of your multis might be 1.5 to like, that might be a little different. You're more looking at the angulation to make sure that they come out of the right place.
Exactly, yep.
And whether it's a millimeter or 2, it's not going to make any difference because you're going to convert, pick up once you have the actual ones in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right, so this becomes inaccurate after you've done your surgery, really. The multis may not be exact.
Yeah.
They may not all be 3 millimeters. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And exactly right, because we use desk parts.
But the desk multis aren't in their libraries yet.
No, they're not.
Right.
The face scan is using Artura.
So the face scan was using an app called Bellus 3D, Bellus. And that's on an iPhone. So,
And I've done a bunch of homework on an Android alternative, and so far it's been failure.
has it?
Yeah, I haven't found a good replacement. The ray scan that we bought, Alpha Plus, apparently the Studio will do the face scan for you on the unit, but the Alpha Plus doesn't do it.
So they're coming out with a separate thing
They can connect
that
to it or
attaches.
something.
I think it attaches to the actual machine. The ray scan alpha.
Is it called Ray
Actually,
Face?
Facial scan. It might be handheld like the
Okay.
program deal, but it's coming out. I think it may have already come out.
Okay.
It's coming out pretty soon.
That or buy an iPhone, I guess.
So how are you stitching the facial to the, I'm guessing their existing model prior to them doing the wax up?
For her face scan? Yeah, so that's a tough aspect. There's a couple ways to do that because we don't really. So the iPhone, the Bellus app it's cool, like it looks pretty sweet, but it's not super accurate as far as especially getting teeth, because I cut her teeth out of here, and it's a free software, so it's not highly accurate, and the stitching of the teeth is tough. One of the ways that I've found that it works okay, I'm doing a little bit of eyeballing plus a little bit of let's see if I can get the. Let's see here. If you have a cone beam here, you have the ability to change the density and get to the soft tissue of the cone beam. And so that can help you get close. So it's almost easier to stitch the face scan to the cone beam by using some of that cone beam data than actually the teeth. And our cone beam ours is pretty small too, right? We only have a 15 or a 10 by 10. So we don't have a big cone beam. I think your ray scan's bigger. Like this is the extent of the scan, just this cylinder here. So I like that method. I'm interested to see where it goes in the future. But face scans are pretty cool, just to be able to.
You can do the digital smile design.
Digital smile design, exactly.
How do you spell Bellus?
Bellus.
Yeah. So really cool for doing full arch, especially when we start to look at I chose that, hey, I wanted to intrude those posterior teeth to kind of fill in her smile a little bit. And one of the reasons I kind of saw how to do that was because of a face scan and just kind of getting an idea. It's like having the skin there, doing a wax rim and setting teeth. I mean, it's kind of, you can do it all digitally. And then, to that point, the Blue Sky library has their parts here. Let's see, I'm not able to. And so their parts are all loaded in here. They've got a 17-degree abutment. There's with the cylinder, so 17. they've got a 30-degree abutment with a cylinder.
And you're not looking at the offset, or you're not looking at the gingival height, not offset, the gingival height of each one of them, really.
Yeah.
You're just getting the right angulation.
Yep.
So that you can pick an exit point to your prosthetic.
And they really don't even have, they only have one option. Blue Sky has only one angled option. So Des actually has more options.
Right.
And so, but Des's library is not in here. So yes, you're not really thinking about that much.
It does change. If it does come up a few millimeters before it starts to make its angle,
Yep.
your exit hole on your prosthetic will be a little bit different.
Yep.
Right?
But not enough to make a huge difference, right?
Right.
Yeah.
These are the only two straights they have in their library. They have a 1.5 and a 3. So not a lot of choices there. The other thing that's pretty cool, and I wanted to show this too, is, and I can send this to you guys. So I did I created a little STL file called 15 millimeters restorative space. And this is a really cool way to look visually. So it's all it is two planes that were made in Mesh Mixer that are separated 15 millimeters apart. So now you can go and drop this plane on the occlusal plane, and then your top plane sits up there, and you can see, all right, my front ones are 15, this one's maybe 14, this one's like 12, 13. It's just kind of...
You should patent that map.
Kind of a cool way to look at it. Because going in and measuring it in the cross sections is kind of hard. Like if you guys have done that, if you're trying to do restorative space.
That's just an STL that you import?
Yeah, it's I'll email it to you guys, and literally you just drop it into the scene, and then once you're in, what you want to do to move it is select your model and hit manual, and then you're just going to move this file. You're just going to grab it and you're just going to drag it in and put it right on your occlusal plane of your wax up. So just get it somewhere close, right? And now you have your other plane that's sitting 15 millimeters up. So it's a good way to visualize, and you might end up saying, oh, I need to deepen some of these because I want more restorative space.
You can go down to like 12, Matt.
Yeah.
Kind of the limit.
Yeah. Like, I think this is about 12, and you guys are all going to get these, and you'll look at, oh yeah, it thins out in the back, and that's 12, and it's fine. Like, it's not a big issue. But again, if you were doing acrylic, no, that's a problem. But we're not doing that, so yeah, I'll send that. What I need to do, I'm gonna widen these planes too to actually mimic a full dental arch too, and then I'll send them over to you guys afterwards. And literally, you'll just keep that file. We have a little folder just of like random files of things, like, and then I'll just grab that and drop it into the scene, and then go to manual manipulation under alignment and just move it anywhere in the scene, and then you'll be able to see your space. Really easy. Okay, so after you have your wax up done, we're not going to go in and do this all today because actually making one of these is a little bit time consuming. But essentially all I did was make a denture from that wax up, and then I made it into a temporary hybrid and then subtracted out holes in that area. So how do we do that? I'll show you here. We gotta change the, oh, I gotta go back to this. So if you want to subtract out a hole, what you can do is you can go into your abutment and you can actually create a custom abutment, and you're going to change it to 20, and then your diameter, let's just call it 6. And you see how it made this big cylinder here? So if you do this 6 times and you just put one of these custom abutments on each tooth, and then go and subtract these cylinders from this denture that you just made, now you have the holes already inside, and then this is going to just seat right over your cylinders. So you put your cylinders on, and then you're just going to seat this over, and you're going to pick it up with some sort of resin.
Are you subtracting in this program or Mesh Mixer?
Mesh. Do you have any experience with Mesh Mixer?
A little bit.
A little bit? Cool.
Starting out.
Yeah, so depending on how much time we have today, we can kind of go into that. There's a term called Boolean subtraction. Boolean subtraction is basically subtracting one object from another and it leaves a hole.
Is the hole already there though, Matt, if you subtract one above it?
Yeah,
The hole's there, right?
that's what I'm saying.
Not in this program.
In Mesh Mixer, you have to do a Boolean subtraction of your denture and your cylinder.
So here it's still a solid to the
Oh, it's
program.
still
It
solid.
doesn't know
Oh.
that
Yeah, Blue Sky didn't make those holes. So let's do,
So he takes it to Mesh Mixer,
And you
does
export
the
it.
Boolean subtraction, and then brings it back over here.
yeah. So here are those cylinders exported right now. So imagine I took all 6 of those implants and I put 20 millimeter long abutments that are 6 millimeters wide. I exported them all into Mesh Mixer, and then imagine I subtract those all from each other. So this is just a tough monitor here. But so I've already done this process, but if you imagine, do you remember doing this, Jared, when we did that one single tooth temporary and you subtracted a hole in it?
Yeah.
It's that same thing. So you have 2 files. You export your abutments from Blue Sky and then your denture, and you're going to subtract them.
But if you export it, the denture would be solid though, right? When you export it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So your denture would be solid, your abutments would be solid, and then you do a Boolean subtraction of the 2 objects, and that is going to basically leave your holes.
Okay.
And now
It knows how to position them together there like that?
yeah. So let's watch that again because that's important. When you open up 2 objects, so this is an object that was exported directly from Blue Sky. These are the abutments. This is referenced in Blue Sky. It's got a location, a GPS location, right? And when I go and I drag in another object, it's going to ask me, do I want to append or replace? So append means add to the scene. Replace means delete what's there and add the new one. So when I hit append, it's going to combine the 2 files into one. Now, this shift position, always hit no, because it's saying, hey, I think something's off. Should I move it? No, we don't want to move anything. Keep their location that came from the other program. So when you hit no, they're exactly in that GPS location that was from Blue Sky.
Relative to each other.
Relative to each other, yeah. Now, when you have, so essentially when you have 2 objects, gosh,
That's right.
you want to know how to get my object browser on this monitor?
Sometimes it's off the screen.
That's annoying, huh?
Mm-hmm. It'll never happen on desktop, but when you change the resolutions, it's somewhere all the way to the right or the bottom.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. Okay, let me see it one more time here. All
There
right,
it is.
there it is. All right, guys, I apologize. What?
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I apologize for this resolution on this monitor here, but this is the best we got. But I'll show you. So if you have 2 objects in your browser on Mesh Mixer, if you click one and control click the second one, as soon as you click the second one, you get these options up in here. And the one you want to do is called Boolean difference. So Boolean difference is basically subtract 2 objects from each other, and then you're going to end up with those holes. So unfortunately, you can't do that in Blue Sky Bio. But all you'd have to do is make a denture, bring it in here, bring those 2 objects in, and subtract them. Now, I'll give you one other tip for those that are like following this because it's getting complicated. The Boolean difference is a very complex operation, subtracting 2 objects, especially when the objects themselves are really complex. And so the key to doing this is simplifying those objects, because what I mean by that is when we exported this hybrid from Blue Sky Bio, it exported it as individual teeth with the tissue, and like normally I'd be able to sit here and just double click each tooth, but I simplified this into one solid simple mesh by this function called edit make solid. So under edit, when we click an object and we make solid, basically what make solid is doing is simplifying a complex mesh. So a mesh that has a ton of different parts and it's like made up of all these things, if you guys are dealing with a mesh that's like, this is just a complex thing and the calculations aren't working, just go make it solid and it will simplify it. And you get to change the accuracy of how accurate this is, because you see how this kind of got blurred a little bit? It's because it kind of lost some accuracy. And you can choose the mesh density, so that's like the resolution. So as I turn this up, this monitor's just not even gonna let me do that. Well, under here there's actually a button that says accept. Maybe enter. Maybe not. But essentially, make solid is just taking a complex mesh with a bunch of internal parts and it's just simplifying it into one watertight, one cell surface all the way around, one pixel all the way around. There's nothing internally. Because that's where the complexity comes in of meshes, is when there's internal pixels inside, like the teeth, like the bottom of the teeth inside the denture. And then when you try to do that Boolean operation, it'll fail and it'll say error. And it's frustrating. You'll be like, why is it not working? Just take your two objects, make them solid, then you're ready to go back and do your Boolean, and it'll subtract out those holes. So a little bit more high-level stuff on that, but kind of get the idea.
Click and hold down to it. It'll just make it go away.
You can't get to the bug.
Oh.
I know. Let's see if I can. This is cool too, when you turn off the view, you can see internally. And so it kind of puts transparency. And you can see there's nothing else inside the inside there, just my channels. So it's a very simple mesh. But yeah, so I mean, if you click I already did this operation. And so it's not giving me the option because I've already done this operation. Like there's already a hole in it, I think.
Is Mesh Mixer the only software to do this?
No, but Mesh Mixer is like one of those, like, it's like, the olden days, like Paint. You're like, I just need to draw something. You'd open up Paint and like draw something because it's just quick, easy, and free. It's kind of like Mesh Mixer in the 3D world. You can just like simply, easily manipulate files. Because sometimes Blue Sky is like, it's too specified for like dental applications, and you need a CAD editor. And this just is kind of the go-to CAD editor because it's just, once you learn some of the basic functions, you can smooth stuff, inflate, bulk it out. You can really do whatever you want to do with this software.